Well, we didn't think we were going to see anything from March of the Machine until tomorrow, but that didn't stop the Australian website pressstart.com from releasing an article that reveals the new card type, Battle. We have one to look at. We don't have any rules text or any confirmation from Wizards on exactly how the whole thing works, but it seems like a very official and very real accidental posting of this card type a day early. So let's take a look at the card and see what we think. March of the Machine preview, all right? This is the article that was zipping around the internet this morning, and we got to see Invasion of Zendikar and Awakened Skyclave. So let's take a little closer look. Pressstart.com.au, Australia website. Maybe some time zone problems, maybe an issue with, oh, I thought you said this day, I thought it was on Tuesday. Maybe the previews were originally going to be on Tuesday and instead they all got bumped to Wednesday, but Press Start had already scheduled this or something. Wasn't made aware that they had moved from Tuesday to Wednesday. I don't know. Let's take a look at the card. Invasion of Zendikar. 1 green, 3 other. And it says Battle Siege. As a siege enters, choose an opponent to protect it. You and others can attack it. When it's defeated, exile it, then cast it transformed. When Invasion of Zendikar enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. Then in the bottom right, it seems to have 3 hit points or life points or battle total or whatever that is going to be called. But I like this clarification here. This is a battle type siege. So as a siege enters, you choose an opponent to protect it. Others can attack it. So that means, I guess there's going to be other types of battles. So that's cool that we're going to have different ways to engage with these. Let's look at the other side and then we'll talk about what we think the whole mechanic is going to work like. The other side is Awakened Skyclave. So when it's defeated, we exile it, then cast Awakened Skyclave. We've got Vigilance, Haste, 4/4 Elemental. As long as it's on the battlefield, it's a land in addition to its other types. So any removal on this particular creature that says, you know, destroy target non-land, that's not going to work. And it taps to add a mana of any color, which is notable. It's got Vigilance and it's got Haste, so we can go ahead and get to work with it. I like this mechanic. It seems pretty straightforward. This doesn't, I've seen some people saying maybe this enters the battlefield under their opponent's control, and that's not the case. It enters under your control. You're just going to choose an opponent to protect it. Others can attack it, including yourself, so that opens it up to multiplayer as well, which we heard that Plane Chase was on its way, and this card kind of looks like a Plane Chase card, so all of this aesthetic kind of matching together makes sense to me. And then when it ETBs, you, the person who cast it, are going to get 2 basic land cards, you know, because it is entering the battlefield under your control. Past that, to me, it kind of looks like a Planeswalker. It's just a backdoor Planeswalker, basically. We're going to cast a Planeswalker for you. You don't get any abilities or anything special from it other than like 3 pseudo life gain, because we're going to be throwing creatures at it, trying to have it defeated. I'm trying to make sure I get the words of the mechanic right so far. So we're trying to defeat it by dealing 3 life points to it, life total, damage, whatever, and we get Awakened Skyclave in return. Relevant that this is an uncommon. So even this one, you know, this one is not like a mythic battle. So we're not seeing something crazy here, but it still seems solid. I mean, there's sorceries before that were 4 mana, go get 2 land cards onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Cool, and then we get extra value out of it. We could turn it into a 4/4 Vigi Haster. That's also a land for anything that looks for lands on your battlefield or against anything that says don't do this to a land. You can do this to any non-land, and it taps for a mana of any color on top of that. Just an uncommon. So this one seems fairly solid. The wording specifically here says when it's defeated, exile it, then cast it transformed, which makes me think that the other side isn't necessarily always going to be a creature. That the other side could be a sorcery that represents the outcome of that battle, or even an instant, maybe. Enchantments. You know, it could be a different card type because it does say cast. Also makes me think that they want it interactable. So if it can be countered, that's relevant to people who play counter spells. And it seems like maybe it's not just when it's defeated, exile it, then return it. gives a little chance for interaction there in between those steps. A lot of the early speculation on battles, which, you know, means nothing in the grand scheme of things, but a lot of people speculated that it was going to be some kind of, you know, tug of war, push and pull, or at least both players competing towards something for this battle. It's kind of interesting that, you know, it just puts the onus on your opponent to protect it, at least this example does, and it really doesn't give your opponent any upside at all for protecting it. I think that's kind of strange. I mean, an explosive vegetation is on curve at 4, and then the backside is just upside. You just also can get a vigilant 4/4 with haste if you just assign 3 damage to it. And I'm curious, you know, can this be done with a lightning bolt, or does it need to be creatures attacking? Just one of my initial reactions is that it's disappointing that both players aren't competing over it in some way, or at least it providing upside to our opponents, or even maybe a higher payoff for us in the end. I saw some interesting speculation that perhaps the mechanic here works like Toxic, where it doesn't matter how much damage is being dealt, it's that damage is being dealt, period. And so 3 creatures have to hit this, and on top of that, it can't be burned with lightning bolt like I was wondering. You know, maybe you get 3 different creatures to damage it at any given point. That counts as the damage, and that's what makes it defeated. That does kind of make sense. It's weird to have, you know, like a 3/1 completely go unblocked, attacking Invasion of Zendikar, and then a 3/1 absolutely wins the Invasion of Zendikar. That's kind of strange. That would be weird. I like this theory in particular because of the symbol around the 3 down here being specifically different and unique and new. Seems like effort was made to sort of make a graphical differentiation of what it takes to defeat the Invasion of Zendikar. So obviously we're going to get tomorrow during previews, we're going to get a full breakdown article. I'm assuming we're going to get the entire mechanic explained and maybe even some other examples of different types of battles. You know, seeing an uncommon one here, I'm really interested to see what rares and mythics look like. And you know, it's a new card type, so that always means pretty much on the nose every single time that one of these cards is going to be absolutely busted and it's going to have to end up getting banned. So I'm interested to see what the wildest pushed version of this looks like, because at uncommon, we're getting an on-curve spell that already exists with explosive vegetation, and we get a 4/4 Vigi Haster. It's a land, taps for a mana of any color, upside on the back end of it. So that just seems crazy. We will be live for the full reveal of this set tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Jump into our Discord if you want to talk about early speculation of what battle is for the next 24 hours. And we'll see you when we know more about it.
Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat.